So, I'll get started. I put together a little, PowerPoint presentation. That's kind of how I work. It helps me organize my thoughts and, ensure that I'm bringing sort of the right message, to the group. So, today's topic is atomic habits, behaviors and systems to really adopt in a busy world to unlock fitness. I know it's a mouthful, but essentially, the you know when I joined the group, we're talking about people were putting in the group different things that they do to sustain. So I heard and I was giving my opinion on quite a few things, and I was invited to speak on this. And I came up with this topic because this is how I truly operate. So I'll be sharing, sort of the agenda here. A second. So one second. There we go. So, I'll walk you through myself, my journey, and we'll talk about sort of basic statistics and, fitness and health with African American men, right? And then, there are these hard truths that I have that might come off a little like tough, but it's sort of a hard truth, and I'll share about six of them with you, and then I'll introduce sort of atomic habits and practical strategies that you can employ in your day to day. And then we have an opportunity for a Q&A. So, I want this to be interactive. If anyone has any questions, you can pull me, you can stop me at any time and ask, and then we can kind of talk through it. So, I'll move to the next slide. So, one second. So when did I join BEM? I joined in May of 2004, 24. My wife actually sent me this link. She was like, "Oh, there's this group that flashed on my LinkedIn, and I think you'd be great for it, right?" And then she sent me the link, looked it over, everything checked out, and I applied, and I was accepted. So the journey for me with this group has started since May. It's had a positive influence in my life, and this is my opportunity to kind of give back in the ways I know how to. And what do I do? I'm a 20-year career consultant. My focus has really been on intelligent automation, AI strategy, and governance, right? I actually started a new role with a company at the end of this month where I'll be leading their AI strategy and governance for that organization. And I live in Milton, Georgia, with my wife and four kids. I'm from Nigeria originally. Actually, I might say originally, I am from Nigeria, born there. I moved here when I was 16 years old, and I've been here pretty much ever since. Um, and my fitness journey actually began in the summer of 2002. I was a sophomore at Reinhardt University. I had just walked on to play basketball there. When I was trying to walk on in Georgia here at Kennesaw State University. When I got there, didn't get on. The new coach that got there didn't see me in his plan, so he basically told me that I wouldn't be part of that team. So a friend of mine who was playing soccer at Reinhardt University down the road basically said, "Hey, why don't you just come and try out here?" So I came, tried out, made the team, and then after my first year, I didn't get a lot of time. So I went to the coach and was like, "What do I need to do?" He said, "You got to get in tip-top shape." I was a little bit bigger at the time. So he basically said, "You got to get in top shape." So that summer, one of my best friends who, we lived together at the time, basically we started going to the gym together. So we would do like almost every day in the summer. We would run, we would work out, come home. And I remember this very vividly. I was on this chicken and egg diet. That's all I ate pretty much for the summer. So I ended up losing like 22 pounds over the summer. I came back with this new body, newfound athleticism. I was moving better on the court. The irony of it is that I still didn't get more time, but it changed my life. And ever since then, I've been really focused on, because I saw the benefits on fitness. I was really focused on being a champion with that and kind of advising people. And it carried on till today, right? So which is over like 20 something year journey, right? So my fitness accomplishment, I didn't just sit idle with it. I competed at the NPC National Physique Committee. I've won my class about 5 times, and then placed fifth nationally for my age group. So it's just something that I do as a hobby, but it keeps me in shape, keeps me focused on a goal, and plugged into that world. So here's just like sample of words that I've got: first place here, second place here. So I've got quite a few of them. I didn't show them all, but I just wanted to give you an idea of the type of things that you win at that level, just trophies. Um, so the next thing I want to talk about is that, the reality of this is that, there are long-term implications of not really taking care of your health and fitness, right? We work hard. Most of us have careers, businesses, family life, but we often kind of let go of the fitness. And to me, I think that's extremely important. I mean, it's 37% of African American men are considered obese, right? Which is a higher rate amongst racial groups in the United States. And in the bottom, you see the, sort of where I pull the stats from, CDC, American Health Association, and the like, there in the notes section. Cardiovascular disease, diabetes, physical inactivity, about 40% of us, which I think is pretty sad when you think about it, and hypertension. And our life expectancy is 4 years lower than the white man, right? And the irony, the hilarious thing about it is that where I'm from, Nigeria, is actually much lower than that. And I think it's like 56 or 58, something along those lines. So it's pretty incredible stats when you come look at it. So we're looking at 71 years versus for 70, 74, 75 for the white male. So now, you know, a lot of people have reasons for the decline in fitness. And I just looked, over the years, just talking to friends, being in groups. This is essentially why I think most people struggle with it, right? You hear I'm very busy. They're working from home. COVID has changed the way they work, sedentary lifestyle, jobs, sitting at desks like we are all day long, right? And then the lack of discipline, a lot of people like to say motivation, but I'll get to the distinction there. And then just poor that habits, right? Eating on the go, eating fast food, all kinds of things, not being able to track consistently, eating out all the time would basically cause the decline of your fitness. And, what I want to share, and, the main crux of this presentation is, what can we do, right, as busy professionals to, create habits, build systems that would help us to really manage our fitness so that we can live longer, we can live better, we can live more, increase the quality of our lives, right? So before I get into that, they're just hard truths that you just really need to understand as you look at, as I bring forth sort of the principles of building these sort of systems that would help you. Now, none of this matter until you make a conscious decision to change, right? I could say whatever I want to say to you guys from here to the moon, but if you don't make a decision saying, you know what, I truly want to be healthy, it ain't gonna happen, right? So you have to have this mental shift. You have to make a conscious decision to say that I want to make this change, right? And the funny thing is that it is simple, but it's not easy. It is very simple to get in shape, but it's not easy. So there's a very clear distinction when you think about it. And and it's okay to make marginal changes, and that's what this, the crux of this is about, to ultimately compound over time. And I'll share more of that as we move, further down the presentation. And then nobody cares about excuses. Results are the only thing that get applauses. So for me, in the group, when people talk about, oh, I could do this, but I can't do that, when I respond with love, but at the same time, I really don't care about the excuses, but I respond with love. But I know that anyone can do it. It's just not easy, but anyone can do it. So unless you're amputee, or you literally can't move your body, then I can hear it. But if you're a well-able man, you can do other things, like you can work and provide for your family and things like that. You can take care of your health and fitness. So motivation is unreliable, but discipline and creating systems is steady. That's what wins the day. And then at the end of it all, will fitness mean that you will live a longer life? Probably not. But if you're going to go, just make sure it's not because you didn't take care of your body. Okay. So this book really, Atomic Habits by James Clear, I started reading it during COVID. And I found out a lot of the principles that he talks about is something that I was doing, but I didn't really, know to the extent of how it was impacting my life. So what I did was I took some concepts from this book and really applied it to how you can build habits, systems, processes that would ensure that you do, take care of your health and fitness. You do work out, you do eat right. And it's not that's why I say you can't go by motivation. Am I motivated? You have to have discipline and you have to have systems in place. Even when you don't want to do those things, but because you have sort of a system in place, you almost have to do those things, right? Or you're put in positions to do things that would be beneficial. If you just look at motivation, you look at somebody that has a six pack, like, man, that's motivation. I want to do it. Behind that, what that person is doing is a lot of hard work, a lot of processes, a lot of systems that you may not be able to implement. And I'm here to help you out with that. So this book, if you ever get a chance, read it. It's really an awesome, awesome book. Now, can anyone tell me who these guys are? You know, it's pretty interesting. Anybody that can just say, who are these random guys?
I'm gonna say they're a Olympic cycling team.
That's right. That's right. They are the British Olympic cycling team of 1908. So in 1908, these guys basically won six gold medals, right, in cycling events, along with three silver and three bronze medals, right? And then they did not achieve this similar dominance until almost a century later. It wasn't until 2008. And prior to that, they just hired this new coach. Sir Dave Brailsford is his name. They hired a new coach, and basically he started to say, okay, introducing the concept of making little changes, right? Small incremental improvements to various parts of the process, putting systems in place that would allow them to be much better. So things as simple as the outfits that they wear, skin suits to reduce air resistance. They tailor their nutrition based on the type of athlete we had to make them optimal, getting more sleep, right? Changing some of the, their tracking performance. So he implemented these little changes over the years from 2002. And then when it came to the Beijing Olympics in 2008, they dominated. 8 gold medals, 6 silver, 2 bronze. And in 2012, they repeated the same thing. 8 gold medals, they had 2 silver and 2 bronze. And then you ask yourself, man, what was the difference? Tiny incremental changes over time consistently to drive excellence, right? So creating systems, building habits little by little is one of the key things how these guys became successful. And that's what this is about, right? So what are the key principles that would allow you to be able to excel, right, in our world? And I'll give you some very practical example. Unfortunately, what I have is my experience. So I'll give you how I do it because a lot of us, in that BEM group are kind of have the same sort of they're in the same group of mine. You have a family, you're married, you're working, you have a business, you know, we have kind of have the same sort of makeup, right? So I believe that if I share some of these things, you can have, apply it to your life and see if it works for you, right? So there are four really key things that you want to do with your around your life, the way around fitness, right? You want to make it obvious. So a lot of us here, we go on school runs, we take our kids to middle school, we drop them off, right? And typically when we drop them off, we either come right back to come sit in an office like this and get to work, right? Some of us have to drop our kids off really early in the morning. So, and I'm one of those. So we're out of here. I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning. We do get them ready, and then we go to school. So I drop off, I have four of them. So I have this drop off point. So the route that I take, I purposely take a route to where I have to pass my local gym before going back home. And because I have to pass my local gym before going back home, I see it, and it's in the same complex where my wife likes to get her coffee. So if I'm going to go get her coffee, I usually just stop by the gym and knock out a quick 45 minutes or an hour of my cardio session. Done. Do that, grab the coffee, come home. I'm working. So I'm done with that workout, right? And then in the afternoon, sometimes when I'm picking them up, right? They have after school program that probably lasts about 6. So between the time I pick them up, I go and pick them up, I'm taking them to their first activity. So one of my kids go to Mathnasium where they do math camp for about an hour. So instead of just sitting there and waiting for them in my car, I go to the gym there. It's right. I specifically chose a center that's right next to my gym. So I go to that one. I go to the gym for about 45 minutes, knock out another cardio session, and I come back and pick them and bring them back home, right? My gym clothes are always in front of the house, right? Where I can always see them. I remember I just take my towel with me and I just walk out the door. So I'm making it obvious, right? And a lot of people, don't, which is, and they don't follow the route that they're coming home to the gym. That's something that I do, and it works for me. So I don't miss cardio sessions just simply because I do it as part of, it's obvious as part of my day. Then, making it attractive. I typically will plan a vacation with my wife, maybe in the middle of the year, or with fellows, right? And that would give me something to look forward to, right? It could be my competition as well. That gives me something to look forward to that I'm working towards. So I know I have a goal in mind, right? So I work towards that. And another thing about making it attractive is that, during COVID, I wasn't, reading a lot of hard, books, so to speak, right? I got into audiobooks. So while I was doing my cardio, I'll open up my phone, go my audiobook, and put my headset and just listen to a book. And that's how I read Atomic Habits. That's why I read so many other books, right? So I made it attractive, to work out because I was gaining something, knowledge and reading, which I, eventually like to do through that activity, and then making it easy. So you notice that I've given you, I've said, taking them as I'm going to school and then coming back and bringing my wife coffee. So it's within the run of play with the activities of my life, right? So that's less friction, and it's not adversarial to how I run my daily operations in my house, right? So one of the ways that you create a system, the system cannot be adversarial to the ebb and flow of your life pattern. Otherwise, it's not going to be sustainable, right? If your workout schedule is constantly getting in the way of you taking the kids to school or giving your wife more stress, it's not going to last. So rather, pick something that complements the ebb and flow of your life to allow you to be able to sustain it over a long period of time, become second nature, right? Another thing is, I don't spend a lot of time cooking my meals, right? Because that's time taken away from everything else that I do. So I pay for a meal service. And you might say, oh, well, that's expensive. No, when you look at the math, it actually works that it's cheaper to pay that meal service and have it delivered to you if you have the capability to do that than to buy food on the go each day. And it's healthier. So I make it easy and convenient for me to stay in shape, right? And to keep my fitness a priority. And then lastly, I make it satisfying. I track my habits. Everyone has this Apple phone. We share numbers every day, steps. If you're taking 10,000 steps, tracking it makes it satisfying, knowing that each day you're saying I'm averaging 10,000 steps or 5,000 steps. So, whatever that may be. And then cheat meals, right? With my wife, on Fridays, we have cheat meals. So I work so hard during the week where I can have just one cheat meal, not cheat day, but cheat meal with my wife. So I get to spend time with her, but at the same time, I reward all the hard work that I have, accumulated throughout the week. So these are just like strategies and systems that I use in my life. And for me, for the purpose of sharing that to you today is that we all have, our processes, our daily runs every day that we do, right? So if you take these principles and kind of apply it, right, you will notice that it will make it easy for you to attain your goals, whether, it's your workout goals or your cardio goals. It will make it easy for you to work out goals. Now, I'm not sharing any meal plans or anything of that nature, right? It's more of a strategy and the systems in place. Do I have meal plans that I can share? I do it all the time with the group. Yes, I can, right? But that's not the point, because if you don't have those systems, it doesn't matter what meal plan you have or what workout plan, you're not making it easy for you to follow and execute, which is what this is all about. Now, I think when we were talking in the group, one of the things one guy said, I think it was Jewel, that says, "Man, I'm always on the road, right?" And I said, "I'm a 20-year consultant. I've been on the road." And I actually found it was easier for me because then I even have more structure when I'm on the road. There's this bag that I used to travel with my meals already that I pay for. I freeze them the night before, pack them in my bags, and I can actually check it in or carry it as hand luggage, and I'll fly with it. I don't get the fancy hotels. I get the service hotels. Why? Because they have the microwave in the room. They have a kitchen sink. They have something that can boil water. They have all sides that where I can make my oatmeal and my eggs in the morning, right? So I pick a service hotel that I go to, and not just the ritzy hotels where they don't have these things in the room, right? I track through my fitness pal, download the app, and every meal, if I'm going to go out to a restaurant, I'll look up the restaurant and look up, okay, maybe I can order this things, right? To make sure that I'm ordering sort of the right thing for me, while I'm still enjoying, camaraderie with my team or the client, right? And then I'll make sure I have something like a hotel gym. If I don't have a service gym, my home gym there, so if I don't have like an LA Fitness or Lifetime out there, I'll make sure I get a hotel gym that I can go to on a day-to-day basis, right? So think about these little systems that I've put around my health and fitness that make it easy for me to execute on whatever game plan that I have. That's what I'm saying, what I'm trying to communicate today. And then, this is me on a typical travel trip. You see those meals in the bag right there? See my bag, my suit, my shoes, um, or like extra bag. I don't know what that was. The bag, my laptop bag, and then my suitcase with my clothes, and I'm ready to go. I'm every meal prepared. I heat it up, eat it, boom, take it to the my client site. They have microwaves there. I heat it up, so I am consistent even when I'm in travel. So I want to take questions, right? Because I think that this is a very important topic and is something that a lot of busy men struggle with. Is how do I get my health and fitness? Forget the plan, forget the meal plan. That's later, right? But how do I mold fitness into my life? How do I build systems and behaviors and make incremental changes that would allow me to have these massive results down the line? So let me pause right there and see if anyone, sort of has any questions, because I want this to be, kind of a discussion, right?
Yeah, of course, of course. I will. I guess I'll start the question. When like I meal prep and everything, I was gonna ask about your cheat meal, not the cheat day. When you do the meal, and I don't really have like a cheat meal or a cheat day. I just kind of stay the same
Yeah,
no matter what I'm doing. Even if I'm going like date night or whatever, I just try to, fish, rice, or and a vegetable for dinner.
yeah, yeah.
But I want to know, like, for you on your cheat meal, how far do you go, like dessert, like what how does that go for you?
That's a great question. And so I'll tell you two things. So obviously, one, looking ahead of time. So if you know you're going to a restaurant, right? I usually look up the restaurant and see the meal, like the menu beforehand. So the rule of thumb for me is, I go 6 ounces of whatever protein they have, a cup of carbs or whatever they have, right? And veggies. And now I'll have room for dessert late afterwards as well, right? So on the cheat day, what I typically do is I don't I eat light throughout the day because I know that I need some space to take on those calories at night, right? So, I might do a intermittent fasting that day. When it says a Friday, I'm not gonna eat a whole bunch of food. I'm gonna just, tailor that until that night where I can eat. So that way I don't have to worry about am I overeating because I know that I haven't eaten much up until this point. It allows me to be able to add additional calories and not worry about that while enjoying time with my wife, right? So it's typical. I usually eat the same things that I would eat, but at a restaurant that I can allow them to maybe cook it with a little bit of butter, a little bit of
Mm-hmm.
this, to give me a little bit of more flavor than I would typically have in my meals, right? So it could be a nice little steak. That's my go-to steak, potatoes, and some spinach, and I'll have, maybe like a frozen margarita. If I have a frozen margarita, I might not do dessert. If I don't have a frozen margarita, then I might do dessert, at night and share it with my wife. And that has worked for me. I've never woken up the next day and said, man, I can't move, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's how I typically would do a date that I go on date night and eat. I typically keep it close to the types of food I eat. Like I normally eat 6 ounces of whatever meat it is. I'll do that 6 ounces. But if I didn't eat anything during the day, maybe I can do 8, maybe I could do 10 and just
Yeah.
enjoy time with my wife. Man, that's a good question. Any
Any other questions,
more
fellas?
any more questions?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's a great presentation that you had this morning.
Yes, sir.
And I can agree with, fitting in, like you drop your kids off and you fit it in. I mean, it's a matter of convenience for a lot of people with exercising. People sign up for the gym membership, they'll
Yeah,
sign up for all these different things, and then they may their first week may be great, but then
yeah,
after that, you may see a drop off because it's all about convenience. I work from home,
yeah. See?
and I've made it to where my home gym is in the same room as my home office. So what I do is if I don't have a meeting going on, I'll set my timer at 10 minutes and I'll go, hit workout, whatever for those 10 minutes. And
Boom.
I may do that, every hour, the first 3 hours of the day, still equivalent to 30-minute workout.
Yeah,
Except I
yeah,
break it up and break it up in those, that, as far as meals go, I tend to do um, intermittent fasting. I'll try to make my first meal around 10, and
hmm,
typically my last meal around 7, 7:30. And again, I'm not the cook in the house. So my wife comes, cooks with her. I'll take out whatever, hey, let's eat this.
yeah, yeah,
I try to make sure, hey, that, we eat and close it out. Anything after 7, 8 o'clock, I'm drinking water,
yeah,
to fill that hunger or whatever. But
yeah.
I try to do where, hey, I make my cheat meal on Saturday because typically
Hmm.
we're out and about going do. So I'll kind of see it as a war. Okay, hey, me knock out these Monday through Friday,
Yeah, yeah,
and Sunday through Friday,
yeah.
eat what I need to eat, and
Hmm.
then Saturday I know we're going to go do something, or even Sunday after church we may go brunch or something,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Make that as the reward for, okay, I'll do hard all during the week, and let me to reward yourself with that one cheat meal that
right.
do on the weekend. So that's what I do. I'm retired military, so a lot of the things that I did in 24 years in the military still,
Yeah.
except I can no longer run because from plantar fasciitis to knee
Yeah.
surgery, the hip, now I do the roar, which, man, I'm gonna tell you.
Oh, I know. I know.
And
Yeah,
when
it's a work.
I have a
That's
Nordic
work,
track,
man.
and I have a Nordic track. So what I do is I can roll like I'm in different countries. Man, I'll pick a country, being because I've traveled all different countries being in the military. I'll pick
Mhm.
a country in the water,
Oh,
man, and that's with the right music in the background. Yeah,
keep going. So,
yeah,
Yeah.
what you said was so important. You said something that is key to this, right? Which is you set up your gym and right next door is you set up your office and right next door is gym. We did the same thing when my wife was, kind of planning where we're going to stay in the office. She asked me, "Do you want to stay upstairs or do you want to stay downstairs?" I have my home gym downstairs because
hmm,
during COVID, and and then I was like, man, if I'm upstairs, the chances of me not saying, "Oh man, I got to go all the way downstairs, pack up,"
yep,
and
yep,
come, just that simple configuration of where you work makes a difference as to if you get a workout or if you don't get a workout. If it's
Yep.
right there and I'm staring at the equipment, chances are I'm going to be like, all right, I have some free time. Then I'm going to go in and get it done. So what you've done is put together sort of the environment and made it obvious for you to actually work out because you're staring at the gym.
Yep.
Now, that's like the same thing as, oh, you're buying snacks, but you're, not to say you're not going to eat cake, but if you bring that cake, you buy that cake and put it in your house, chances are you're going to eat that cake,
Yeah.
you
Yep.
know? So that's what this is all about is what are those habits and what are those systems that I can put in place that will enable fitness to be easier for me to do. And putting the gym right next to your office is one of those things that you can do, man. Hey, right on, brother. That makes sense.
Especially if it's difficult call after a difficult call with a client,
Mm.
or know if I'm going into a client that I got problems with.
Yeah,
Hey, that right background music along with getting the workout in to get your mind right to go deal
Yeah.
with that client, man. It makes a whole bunch of difference. And
Oh,
work life fit is no longer work life balance, but work life fit. How do
yes.
you fit your work life, your fitness life, and your family life into your lifestyle?
That's
You know,
that's it.
you
That's
have
it.
just like you plan your work day, you got to
Hmm.
plan your life. I mean, hey, okay, if I know my last client is at 3, and my wife gets home from work at 3:30, hey babe, let's go, to the park to go hang out with her. Or on a Friday, hey, I may work half a day. Hey babe,
Hmm.
they got live music tonight. Hey, let's make a day out of it. Let's go do whatever. Then we go to live
Mm.
music, whatever. So
Yep.
you got to be able to fit, man, because how our brothers are. We're
Yep.
providers first, and
Yep.
then everything else fall by the wayside. We want to make sure the family taken care of,
Yeah.
wife, kids, and we forget about us, man, and we'll take
It's
care of
easy.
everybody
It's
else.
easy to forget.
Yeah,
It's
easy
easy
to
yeah,
to
forget,
forget.
man. But if we're not here to be that spiritual covering, man, because I
Hmm.
think I put in the group, spirit cover spiritually first, then emotionally, then
Hmm.
physically,
Hmm.
and financially is last, man. Because if you got the first three in order, that financial thing makes it easy to deal with, because hey, you have that foundation of with the wife and the kids, man, where they understand where you're coming from as the provider and the man of the household.
100%. 100%. And
no, that's
yeah, go
good.
ahead, Brandon.
No, I was gonna say that's good. I think the other part too is even though it's interim, it still takes a level of discipline.
Yeah.
And to that point, it makes me think about like I know my parents, like my mom, for a minute she was into all these fitness equipment, but then I would go to the house, it would be like sitting in her room, and that was like a clothes rack or something, and it's like, Mom, you spent all this money on this, like roller or the elliptical or whatever, and that was just a clothes rack. So it still takes a level of
Yeah.
discipline to
Yes.
use it, even though it's sitting there. So I think that's the other part. And I think you spoke on it as well. Like you have to have the discipline
Hmm.
to want to do it. And fitness is more, it's a lifestyle. It's not just a habit. It's like a
Yeah.
literal lifestyle
Yeah.
that you have
Yeah.
to go by.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
people can come in, and I tell people, I talk about the conversations I have. People come enslaved to the scale, man. I mean, you
Yeah.
if I know where my target weight is. If I'm within 5 to 7 pounds, I get over a couple of weeks 5, 6 pounds. I'm not going to panic. Some people, man, they see that 1 pound or two
Yeah.
pounds, man, they're panicking because okay, I gotta go, I gotta cut. And what happens is, man, their body that stood to realize that stress they're putting on their body,
Yeah.
that's going to affect your ability to be able to manage your lifestyle, man. Whether it's
Yep.
for working out, as far as eating, losing
Yeah.
weight. So that I think people get overly obsessed with what
Yeah.
the scale says, and should be more focused on how they feel,
Yeah.
how their clothes fit, and just their mind, how their mind operates to be able to think more freely.
No,
Hmm.
100%, 100%. And I don't know if you've ever seen folks, that you run into that constantly like change diets, right?
Yep, yep,
Today,
Hmm.
yep, yep.
fasted diet is vegan. They're not vegan anymore. And that's because going back to what you said, Brandon, is that this is a lifetime, right? You have to be patient with the process. It's incremental changes to overall goals. So you can't just say, all right, it's going to be 10 pounds. I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 1 week, something like that. It doesn't
Not
work that way.
realistic. It's not
And that's
realistic.
that's why people shift from because all right, this is not working. I haven't lost the 10 pounds. Let me try a carnivore diet. Let me try this
Hmm.
diet. And they end up at the same place, which is it has nothing to do with those different strategies. One, you have to have discipline and you have to be patient with the process because it takes a long time. It's a
True.
lifetime right? You
It,
have
it,
to use the
I
process.
like to tell people you didn't gain that weight overnight, so you're not gonna lose it overnight.
For
You know,
sure.
you were doing things, kind of didn't, discipline yourself. Damn, I have been kind of, eating a lot, not in my normal diet. They look
Mhm.
at the scale to kind of see where they are. If they know that window. But like
Yeah,
I talk, if you didn't gain that weight overnight, you're not gonna lose it overnight. So
that's right. Patience is a critical, aspect to it. I think for me, what has worked, honestly, one of the biggest things, meals, your meals are extremely important.
yeah,
Having the ability or just not being able to think about, all right, what do I have to cook or what do I have to prepare for
Hmm.
me
yep,
has been the biggest game changer. Like I know, all right, when I eat, I'll go upstairs and in the fridge, I'll go ahead and put it in a pot or I'll just heat it up. 5 minutes, my meal is ready, right? And I'll just move on with the next thing versus me thinking, all right, I gotta put this, season this and do that. And no, for me, it has been the game changer for me because when I was cooking my meals, it was so difficult on my wife. She would spend like all night prepping my food, and she's like, "Man, this is not it, babe. Like I am dead tired, right?" So I said I had to find a way that fits, and that's why I was creating friction there because she had to, was prepping my meals. So when I changed that, it reduced the friction and it allowed me to be able to, like you said, Chad, fit fitness into what I am doing on a day-to-day basis, right? And that was to me the biggest game changer. Once that fixed that, the rest was like history, man. Because that's where it's at. Your diet is one of the most important things that you can do, if not the most important things when it comes to your health and fitness.
I'll tell you though, the biggest challenge is they don't make eating healthy cheap, man.
Mm-mm.
And it's crazy because
No,
fruit, veggies, that's almost a weekly thing you got to buy unless you buy them
expensive.
frozen, cut them up and fresh and buy them frozen and freeze them, whatever. But like, we do a lot of uh, chicken,
Mm,
fish, boneless pork,
mm-hmm.
seafood. I'm from Louisiana, so I mean,
Seafood. Oh yeah, seafood
seafood
is
for us is big,
yeah,
so, but the cost to eat healthy is ridiculous. Where, man, you go to the store, I can tell people,
$3.
like you see,
Oh,
man, the outer rings is in a grocery store where you need to be because typically your produce and everything is on the back right corner of the store.
yeah.
Your dairies on the opposite corner, man, and then
Uh-huh.
then your meats typically on the back side of the depending on what grocery store you go to.
Yeah.
So I mean, you stay along those outer edges, man. You're good, but I mean, the cost of, man, you go to a
Expensive.
farmer's market maybe, or like I'm considering, man, tilling up part of my backyard, man, growing some of my own veggies and stuff.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, no, no, it's true. I always say that, man. Isn't that crazy? That's kind of counterproductive, though. Why would it
Yeah.
be cheaper to go buy a whole bunch of bad food than to eat
Well,
healthy?
that's the United States. I live,
That's
different
true.
countries
Yeah.
where, like in Europe, Asia, I sent something to a group where, hey, they had all the kids' lunches. Every kid's lunch in all the other countries had vegetables and fruit, except for the United States, a lot of processed food.
Yeah.
It's because they've made it so, you know, food disparity, man. I mean, to where,
Mm.
it shouldn't be more expensive to eat healthy than it is to eat unhealthy. I remember growing up, man, hey, those cooks in the cafeteria, they were going to cook the food because, hey, those are people that your parents knew because, hey, they were in
Hmm.
organizations where, hey, who's cooking the food for the event? Oh, Miss So and So that's cooking the school cooking the event. The food is going to be good.
Yeah, yeah,
Now everything, man, is
yeah,
manufactured. There's prepackaged, whatever. I mean, kids are, and you wonder why the kids are beasts, man, and then they're
yeah,
not as active as they used to be. Where, hey, you outside for recess, you look forward to going outside for recess. Now the kids, all they want to be on their phone or the little gaming systems, man. You
mhm.
couldn't be inside when I was growing up, man. You had
Yeah.
to be
Plan
outside.
those out, burn them. Yeah, burn those calories out.
Yeah.
It is.
I think that's good too, cause like I know for me and my son, part of me being active is because of him. And he's
Yeah.
been so my son's been playing soccer. He started when he was 2.
Mm.
Because here locally they're affiliated with one of the semi-pro teams.
Oh wow, nice.
So they start them young. So he's been that, and then for me, just being a former athlete, I'm always get to practice early. So like
Yeah.
my son at practice, 40, 30 minutes early. So like we doing dynamic stretching warm-ups. Like, come on, son, we're gonna do this. So like
Yeah,
that's part of like my workout too. Like, when you do a dynamic stretching, it's essentially a workout.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
yeah.
like since he was 2 and now he's 6 and now he's just in the habit of that. hey, we gotta get to practice earlier. Then what are we
Yeah.
what are we doing? And then as far as the food,
Mm.
I think a benefit for my son is being that he does have certain allergies, he can't eat everything. So
Oh,
Mm.
like we've had he has like I created like raised garden beds in the backyard. So yeah, he grows his own strawberries. He likes jalapeno peppers,
oh
Mm.
yeah.
avocados and stuff like that.
Okay.
So he's already in the habit of like, hey Dad, what are we growing next? Like what are we doing? What do we need to do? And then a
Mm.
lot of stuff like he's not into like he's not a big candy or dairy eater
Mm.
right off the bat. So when people be like, your son eat avocado, your son eat,
Yeah.
shrimp and all this other stuff, I'll be like, yeah, my son eat real good.
And
And I
kids
think it's
mimic
just
what
a
kids
benefit.
kids mimic what they see their parents do, man. Just like
Yeah,
eat, just like
And your wife. And the
yeah, and
wife.
your wife, and
yeah.
just like
Your wife.
it's just like screen time. You know,
Mm.
if you're not on your phone doing whatever, or you're doing things that are active, kids see that and they're gonna think that's the norm because
Mm-hmm.
okay, hey, my
Mm.
parents did that because that's gonna, especially those formative years.
Yes.
You know, they don't see you on your phone a whole bunch or whatever, or you're not, watch a whole bunch of TV. You may listen to
Yeah.
music. You may be outside. And kids are gonna
Mm.
think that's what the norm is.
No, that's
Yeah,
that's a,
yeah.
that's an excellent point that you made. Is that and that was one of the things that I think I put in there where the way you behave, your behavior permeates across the board. Like you mentioned, your son eating avocados. That to me is amazing. And I see the
Yeah,
meals that you put in the chat, man. Like your meals are so nutritional. Like it's almost like you curate them.
yeah, yeah,
It's solid. So now, and I think, and it makes sense that your son follows that because that's how you eat, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
even like, always gonna say, Dad, let me try that. Let me try that. Let me
Mm-hmm.
try that.
Yeah.
After a while, he's just gonna have this taste to it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So for me, having a kid that eats avocado is unheard of because that's not something that kids would normally gravitate to, but it's
True,
Mm-hmm.
for you.
true.
So man, I appreciate. Just keep dropping the meals in there because I was like, man, that looks so good and it's so nutritious. And your portions, man, it's like your
Yeah.
portions are like perfect. I never see like you having a mountain of rice or anything like that. It's like boom, 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 and then boom, you keep moving. You know what I'm saying? And now
A
your
lot,
son's doing
I'll
it. So
say a lot of that is using my son's bowls of like because they already be sectioned in
look at that
his
habit,
pencil
man.
bowl.
Look at
See, see,
that. You
see,
I just
see?
see. That's yep, yep.
it's
I mean,
easy.
that's what it is. And your body adjusts to after say it takes 14 days of doing something in a row before it become or 21 days become
Mhm.
habit. I mean, because after a while, your body gets used to that change of not eating as much because especially if you drink a lot of water. Like I try to drink, I have a 85-ounce water thing that I fill up twice a day.
Oh
So
man.
I'm constantly drinking water throughout the day, constantly running to the bathroom, which I'm not complaining about.
Same
But
here.
we flushing your
Yeah.
system, man. But that water, man, it's just like I put lemon juice in my water, man, and crystal light, a little crystal light in there to kind of give a little flavor and
Like
stuff.
flavor,
But
yeah. Just so
yeah,
you can
but
drink it all, because
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
yeah,
yeah. No, that
yeah,
that that makes sense, man. I think this is all good stuff, man. I think that we should just, continue to preach this and this, everyone's busy. There's no one's just sitting there idle. We have stuff to do, we have work to do, we have families to raise.
yeah,
So it's important that we continue to sort of keep
yeah.
fitness at the forefront because you can't, I don't care how much money you make, you can't enjoy that if you
No,
if you
it's
if you're
true.
not healthy, you can't enjoy that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You
yeah.
pain all the time and stuff like that. Yeah, man. You can't.
Yeah, my motto is you can always make more money, but you can never get back time, make up lost time,
Mhm.
or get back an opportunity to make more memories. And the way, man, I see brothers dropping left and right today, 45, 50, 55, because they didn't take their health seriously, man.
Mhm.
I want to live to be see my grandkids, man. My son's 31,
Okay.
my daughter's 22, so I want to be able to see them, man, at least, a few years, grand, and I want them to be able to say,
Mhm.
my kids said the kids never got to, spend time with their grandfather, grandparents and everything,
Okay.
so I appreciate my wife as well. Hey, we got to make sure we're around, this long term,
Yeah.
to be there for be there for the grandkids, so when they do come.
Man, that's amazing. You don't even look like you got a 30-something-year-old, man.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
nah,
yeah, my
nah.
son's, yeah, yeah,
You don't,
he's
you don't look like that at all. So that's amazing, man. For real. That's pretty good, man. Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it, man. I just want to come on here and just kind of share some of the systems that I use, and I know that it will resonate with a lot of people just because everyone kind of, most of us have families, most of us have
Yep.
jobs and work, so it's just something that is consistent. So fitness is just it's just part of every day. Like I wake up, oh yeah, I'm gonna do my cardio because I'm gonna pass
Yeah.
through that gym, drop off the kids, like
Hmm.
it's a routine for me. So that's
Yeah.
that's what keeps me going. So sure.
No, that's good. I definitely appreciate the presentation. Bessie, I see you on. I know you said you were looking forward to this. I didn't know if you had any questions, but I know I think you're 5 hours ahead, so I wanted to give you some
Oh
time.
man.
Yeah, Bessie's over in Dublin.
Oh,
Oh
that's
wow.
good.
Oh,
That's right. Mhm.
Dublin, Ireland.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep.
Okay, yeah, I've
Right
been
in
there,
there.
man. Beautiful city. When I was stationed in Germany, man, my family went, took a week, man, in Dublin. Beautiful, man. I recommend anybody go and visit Dublin if they get the opportunity to. So
Really? Okay. That's what's up, man. I think Bass is on mute. He might be driving or something. He's spent 5 hours
Yeah,
on the road.
yeah. It might be. It's toward the
Crazy.
end of his day over there.
yeah,
I know I was talking to him a little bit last week, but no, I
Yeah.
definitely appreciate I'll definitely keep dropping the meals and stuff as they pretty much gonna be the same. They're not gonna be too
No,
addictive
that's
or
all. It's
nothing
all
keep it
good,
simple,
man.
man. Keeping it simple is the best. That's
Just keep
keeping it simple is
motivating,
the
man.
best way
That
to
that
be.
that motivates people to be like, okay, that's how a meal is supposed to be, man. I mean, it's
Yeah,
perfect. I
Yeah,
can't I can't fault that at all, man.
and I
true. I
agree.
mean,
I
simple. Yeah,
also part of my motivation is coming up. I have my 20-year class reunion, and like they added me to this class reunion group, and I'm looking at pictures. I'm like, what happened to y'all from high school? Like,
yeah,
because I
yeah.
know, like, for me, just working out, I like my high school weight to now. It's only like 15 pounds difference,
Mhm.
and the 15 pounds I added was more so muscle, and
Yeah,
muscle is just
wasn't
heavier
yeah,
than fat.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at some people, and a few of my boys hit me up was like, "Do you still look the same in high school?" And I'm like, "Well, what happened? Like, what happened?" They were like, "You still look the same
Or
in high school,
true.
college." And I was like, "I never stopped going to the gym. Like
Yeah,
I just kept it going."
Oh yeah.
And
Oh
a
yeah.
few of the guys are like, "Man, I need to get back into it." I was like, "It's discipline. It's discipline and
true. It
dedication."
is.
Like,
Yes, yeah.
It's
I
not
went to
easy.
my
It's not easy.
I went to my 30-year high school reunion 5 years ago, man, and got some girls that were on a cheerleading team looked like they could beat a whole cheerleading team. Uh, some guys that I play sports with, man. It's like, dude, it's like, man, you haven't changed one bit. I had just retired. Of course, I didn't have this growing as of yet. I was still kind of clean shaven,
Yeah,
but I and they're like, man, you haven't changed not one bit from high school as far as looks
that's
and stuff and
crazy.
everything.
That's crazy.
And look, my lifestyle is active. I mean,
Mm.
and it is what it is.
I appreciate it, man. This is awesome. This is definitely awesome spending time with you, brothers. You know, let's
yeah,
keep motivating these folks in the group, man, because a lot of people struggle with this. I'm not gonna lie
They
to
do.
you.
yeah,
I
They
have
do.
a lot of people that struggle with it, and they're just kind of stuck. And rather than
Especially,
trying to take a step, they
yep,
actually just go in even more. And
yep.
yeah, but we got to
And
do
first
yeah.
step is all it takes, man. The hardest part is getting started.
get started. Even if it's
Definitely.
small, I keep telling them just incremental changes, man. You don't have to do an hour cardio, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Just
30
get
minutes to
eventually you're
15
gonna build up
minutes.
to it.
Yep, to 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, man. I mean, set your timer. Okay, hey, even if you do one, if you can do 5 push-ups. Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna do 6 push-ups. Next day I'm gonna do 7 push-ups. Or hey,
Mm.
I can only lift 20 pounds. Okay, tomorrow this week I'm gonna focus on that. Next week I'm gonna lift 25 pounds, man. A little increments, man, to give yourself some motivation, and not think it's gonna happen overnight. Because what people happens,
Mm.
people get all motivated. They go
Mm.
to the gym for 30, 40 minutes that first day, and the next day they can't even get up because they all
Mm.
sore. They all, oh my God, overdid it, whatever, and everything, and then it kills their motivation to go back. Where they do 10 minutes
Yeah.
of something, and then okay, I'm gonna keep doing that 10 minutes. I'm gonna build myself up, and then if they want to lose 40 pounds, okay,
Yeah.
hey, I want to lose 40 pounds in a year. Okay, 40 divided by 12, that's 3 pounds a month. Okay,
Hmm.
what can I do to 3 pounds a month? Hey, I gotta do what I gotta do to get those 3 pounds a month for my goal.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 100%, man.
Yeah.
That's
And
good.
when you start off, I'll say this last when you start off, I think the accountability matters too.
yeah,
So I think when I know for me, like working out by myself is pretty simple, but I know for others, like they need that accountability.
yeah,
So
Hmm.
finding somebody who are you going to be like, I don't feel like working out today, but the other person's like, nah, come on, man, we gonna work out today. We're gonna keep it going. Or a group, like even if it's not just one person, have a group
Yeah.
of people
Yep.
that at least like
100%.
yeah,
100%.
that
It's
that accountability matters.
yeah,
Yep.
absolutely, absolutely, no doubt.
Hey, gentlemen, good conversation. I got to jump
Likewise.
because I got to go get my 10-minute hit in before this
Hey
day.
man, love it,
Nah,
love it.
no worries.
All
No
right,
worries.
good. All right,
Y'all
take
guys
care,
be
man.
good. Appreciate the presentation. And it'll be recorded for the other
Okay,
guys to listen to.
for sure.
And then if you throw up the presentation in the chat, and then we'll
Yep,
keep rocking from there.
sounds good, man. Thanks, Brian.
All right,
Appreciate
guys.
it.
Y'all have a good
Enjoy
one.
your,
Take
enjoy your
care.
Monday.
All
All
right,
right,
you
have a good
too.
one. Bye.
All right.